Good morning, or good afternoon, or good night. It depends of what hour is in this time. I'm Luquitas Montes, and I'm going to read another chapter of this book. The name of this chapter is The Call for Help. In the last chapter, I read about Costa that was climbing the Eagle's Rock. And David Asken, or Holland, is seeing him from the holiday villa. So the sister of Costas is now uh, searching help. He's trying to find someone that can help Costas. Well, chapter 7. The call for help. Eleni ran back across the beach. She couldn't run fast on the soft sand. It seemed to take a lifetime to reach the step on the other side. I have to get help, she thought, as she began to climb the steps. Oh, poor Costas. Father will be so angry with him for climbing his rock. Eleni ran up the last few steps to the cliff top. She had to find a telephone. Where was the nearest phone? Then she remembered. The nearest one was in her father's holiday villa. She ran toward it. She knocked loudly on the door. Mr. Asken! Mr. Asken! She shouted. Come quickly! There were sounds from inside the villa, and then David Asken opened the door. He looked at Eleni in surprise. What? What did you call me? He said. My name is Holland. You're David Asken, the climber, Eleni said. But that doesn't matter now. Can I use your telephone to call for help? My brother's on Eagle's Rock. He is too frightened to move. Come in, he said, looking worried. The phone is in the sitting room. Eleni ran across the room and picked up the cell phone. Then she stopped. She turned and looked at David Asken. Wait a minute, she said. I don't need to phone for help. You can help my brother. You're a famous climber. You've climbed mountains. You'll know what to do. Asken's face went white. His hands began to shake. I don't know. Please, Eleni said. Oh, please. She took Asken's arm and pulled him through the door. No, Asken said, pulling back. I can't do it. Yes, you can, Eleni said, angrily. Aren't you planning to climb Eagle's Rock and get into Eagle's house? Asken looked at her. How do you know that? He asked. Costas saw you looking at Eagle's house and Eagle's Rock through your binoculars, Eleni explained. We guessed what you were planning. Somebody is paying you to steal Mr. Vitali's paintings. We are right, aren't we? David Asken didn't speak for a minute. Then he said, You can prove that. Nobody will believe it if you tell them. I can tell Mr. Vitalis what you are going to do, Eleni said. He'll believe it, and I will if you don't help my brother. Then Asken laughed. So, you will tell Mr. Vitalis? That's a joke. I don't understand, Eleni said. Mr. Vitalis paid me to come to the island, Asken said. He wants me to steal some of his paintings. Suddenly, David Asken didn't worry who knew this. But I'm not going to do it, he continued. So I'm not going to climb Eagle's Rock. Eleni was nearly in tears. But you must help my brother. Perhaps She'll die, she said. Do you know something? Costas thought that you were the greatest climber in the world. He's he he's read every book that you've ever written. He once dreamed of being like you. Now he thinks you are a coward. Show him he's wrong, Mr. Asken. Show him you are not afraid. Help him now, please. Asken looked at her for a full minute without speaking. It was the longest minute of Eleni's life. Then he said in a quiet voice, I don't think I can. You can, Eleni told him. Oh, I'm sure you can. You must. All right, Mr. Asken said after a minute, but I have to get some things. And he went into the next room. Eleni looked out of the window as Asken got his climbing things. Oh my god. The binoculars were on the table in the middle of the room. She picked them up and pulled them to her eyes. Then she looked across at Eagle's Rock. She could see Costas. He was still in the same place. He hasn't fallen, she thought thankfully. Let's go, David Asken said from behind her. She put down the binoculars and followed him out of the villa. After a few minutes later, they were hurrying across the beach. I'm glad you came to the island, Eleni said. But I don't understand. Why does Mr. Vitalis want somebody to steal his paintings? For the insurance money, Asken said. Mr. Vitalis isn't as rich as he wants people to believe. His company is losing money. Eleni looked surprised. Is that true? She said. It's true, Asken told her. How did he find you? Eleni asked as they half walked, half ran across the sand. I met him in England, earlier this year, David Asken said. I was working in the bar of a hotel where he was staying. He knew my face. Then he learned that I needed money. He needed money too. He wanted me to make just one more claim. But what about the paintings? Eleni asked. What did you plan to do with them? Vitalis told me to keep them for a few weeks and then give them back to him, Asken said. He planned to sell them to a man with a private gallery. This man doesn't worry about where his paintings come from. Mr. Vitalis needed somebody who could claim, and somebody who needed money. And he found you, Eleni said. Yes, Asken said. Did you plan to hurt him? He probably wanted it to look real for the police, Eleni asked. Yes, he told me to do that, Asken agreed. They were almost at the cliff now. They could both see Costas. He was still in the same place. Eleni and Asken didn't speak again. They began running faster through the cliff. David Asken looked up at the boy on Eagle's Rock. Asken was wearing climbing boots and carrying some rope. He looked for a way up the rock. It wasn't easy. Maybe up that crack, and then across to the shelf to the left of the boy. He thought, yes, that looked possible. The ugly bird shape of the rock hung over Costas. To Asken, it seemed a long, long way away, but now was the time. Suddenly, he knew that he had to make the climb. He had to save that boy. Hold on, David Asken shouted to Costas. I'm coming up to you. Oof. And that is the end of the chapter. Okay. Hold on. David Asken is going to help Costas. This will be interesting because maybe both of them can steal the paintings and share the money. I don't know. We're going to see in the next chapter. So see you.